Coming up on The Whistle, watch the TD Garden in Boston transform from hockey rink to basketball court in 2 hours. How to hit your target in lacrosse with tips from Major League Lacrosse forward Kevin Gould of the Boston Cannons. The Patriots tight end Rob Gronkowski shows off his duds for charity. And TJ does what no NFL defender wants to do. He's going to go one-on-one with the Gronk. And Lauren finds her way into the TV production truck on NBA Game Day. All that and more coming up on The Whistle.
Hi everyone, I'm Lauren.
And I'm Alex.
And welcome to The Whistle, the stories you want to see fast and now. Have you ever wondered how they play 2 games on the same day at the same place?
Well, I know my dad used to tell me about how the Bruins and Celtics would have to play 2 playoff games in one day at the Garden. I thought that was so cool.
Well, today we're going to get a behind-the-scenes look with the legendary Bull Gang, so they could show us how they do make that transformation from ice to floor.
The Zambonis are the first step in getting the Bull Gang started. They've been practicing this turnaround for 67 years, dating back to when the Celtics joined the Bruins at the old Boston Garden. We caught up with one of the oldest members of the Bull Gang. What's the hardest part of your job? What piece of changing the floor is most difficult?
I don't do any of the heavy work now. The hardest part is getting out of the house and getting here.
What do you prefer? Which is easier, going from ice to hardwood or hardwood to ice?
Hardwood to ice. It's faster.
Once the Zambonis are done, the first step is laying the 425 pieces of the subfloor right on the ice. Then 264 pieces of the famous parquet floor are pieced together and held in place by 1,008 bolts. That's a lot of bolts. The Bull Gang places every piece and bolt by hand. This is a 6-hour process that has to be done on this day 3 times as fast. What's the hardest part of the transformation?
Time. Not enough time to do everything you need to do.
The Bull Gang isn't the only team that is under pressure. The TV production truck also has deadlines to meet. Lauren's out there now. Let's see how they're doing. Lauren?
Right now, we're going to get a chance to look at what goes on inside the truck of Comcast SportsNet New England.
Up front here, we have a production area with the director and the producer basically call the show. To the right of the director is the PD, who basically switches the show. To the mid bench is basically graphics. Everything you see on the upper part of the screen and the lower third of the screen are graphics, and those are basically dealt with in the mid bench. And the back bench is where I sit, and also what we call the bug box sits. What essentially is the problem is we allow 6 hours for a setup, and now we only have 2. It's a little bit of a fire drill, but in the world of television, failure really is not acceptable, so we'll be ready.
Did you know in addition to basketball and hockey, they also used to play lacrosse here? That's right, until 2009, the NLL's Boston Blazers called the Boston Garden their home. Speaking of lacrosse, here's the Boston Cannons' Kevin Gould for some tips for the upcoming lacrosse season.
So I'm pulling with this bottom hand, pushing with the top hand, following through and pointing my stick right to Mike. So what I want to do is look at where Mike's target is and point the head of my stick right to the side of Mike's head, right into what we call the box, right next to his head. Just push, pull, and point right to Mike's stick.
Not only is the Garden home to the Bruins and the Celtics, it's also home to the Sports Museum, where the Patriots are on display. Speaking of that, Rob Gronkowski was on display last week for a good cause. TJ caught up to him at a charity event.
You will have celebrities walking down this runway behind me tonight to benefit the great cause of fighting breast cancer.
And now the stud muffin of the night, Ron, 87.
Do you believe giving back at events like this is common enough among athletes?
Yes, there's many athletes always giving back. You see many people with charity. You see many people out there. I mean, it always doesn't get publicized. A lot of athletes I see do it under the radar.
So have you ever wondered who controls the Garden HDX, also known as the Jumbotron? That's Game Ops, and we're going to the control room. So how do you decide who gets on the fan cam?
Actually, that's our director. He has an eye for finding people. They might have a different look about them, or they're just having a grand old time, and he finds them. He's very good at it.
So you're looking at all these screens all the time when the game is on?
Pretty much, yeah. So we usually have, like during the game, you kind of have your cameras you go to, your game camera, which is usually camera 6 we have. And for replays, you know, we usually have a director too that'll call out replays, but we have our crowd shots, we have our cameras that are in the upper bowl, and you know, we have 5 of our own cameras, and we take the cameras from the truck. So.
Well, that's a lot of buttons to keep track of.
There is a lot of buttons on here.
What do you think would be harder, basketball on ice or hockey on the hardwood?
Hockey on the hardwood.
Why?
Because the puck would get like stuck on the wood. Hockey on the hardwood.
Why is that?
Your skates would get stuck in the wood.
Hockey on the hardwood.
Hockey on the hardwood.
Why is that?
Because you have to skate on like court. That's not gonna be pretty.
Well, it was a long day here at the Boston Garden, wasn't it, Lauren?
It really was. I am exhausted.
We got to see a lot of cool stuff, though. They changed the floor over so fast.
Yeah, they did. We got to see everything. But stay tuned with us next time as we take you behind the scenes in Chicago. For The Whistle, I'm Lauren.
And I'm Alex. See you next time.